Hi guys, my name's Shay and my Instagram handle is my HCG Weightloss, and I wanted to pop on here and talk to you guys about my HCG journey. I started in April 2019 and I completed 3 rounds by November 20th, 2019, and I lost a total of 26 kilos. Just blows my mind. I can't believe how much HCG has changed my life. I've always struggled with losing weight. I've always been the sort of person who has tried to maintain my weight or lose weight, really. My whole life it's been one of the main things, and life should be a lot more than trying to not be overweight. I've always enjoyed food, I've enjoyed cooking, and I've tried many different diets, all of which, they work when you put in 100% effort, or when you're exercising 6 days a week and eating really well. They work. What I loved about HCG, and the information that I learned as I went along, is that it targets your fat specifically, to lower your fat bank until there's very little in there. And then once you finish your HCG patches, it closes that fat bank up so that you can't, not that you can't put any more weight on, but that's the main area that you're targeting with HCG. Whereas with other weight loss diets, protocols, ways of life, it's not specifically targeting that fat bank that you have. So that I found was really, really intriguing. So I went with Nature's Body, their HCG homeopathic patches. They do also have drops, but I'm super forgetful and I will not be able to remember to take 10 drops a day, 10 drops 3 times a day, 10 minutes before meals. Like, tried it, failed miserably, especially the 10-minute bit, because you'll take them as you start to make lunch and then it'll be less than 10 minutes or whatever and you're eating, or you have a drink. And the thing is that the drops have to go underneath your tongue and take about 10 or so minutes to absorb. So I love the patches that I can just pop them on a fatty area of my body. So that was always my lower tummy. Leave it on for 3 days and not have to think about it again. I had constant HCG going into my bloodstream consistently for 3 days. And I think that's what made it like super appealing and just super easy. So my first round, I did 3.5 weeks because I was going on holidays. So I wanted to fit a round in before I went away. In that first 3.5 weeks, I lost 9.7 kilos. And then I went on holidays for 3 weeks, and during my first round, I was researching how do people maintain, what do you do after HCG? And the consensus was keto, low carb, high fat. In the original protocol, the gentleman says that once you've done HCG, you can go back to a normal diet, a normal way of eating, but obviously not stuff yourself or go back to your original habits, but you can still eat bread and eat pasta and things like that. For me, that just didn't really seem like it would solve the problem for me, and I just didn't want to put the weight back on. So I looked into it, and keto seems to be the consensus of how people would maintain their weight and go on from there. So I did that while I was on holidays. I researched different foods that I could have while I was over there, and successfully. It was cold, by the way. It was I went to New Zealand and it was May. No, it was May. And I put on 1.5 kilos in 3 weeks. So you're thinking cold things, soups, coffee. I did find some low carb bread over there that I purchased, which was okay, but it wasn't great. But you think you're on holidays, like people are going to be having chocolates and stuff. I had the Well Naturally sugar-free chocolate over there, which was really good. When we had cheese and crackers, I found the Olena's crackers over there, and that's what I had. I was very impressed that I only put on 1.5 kilos. During that time, I also used the HCG, sorry, not HCG, Nature's Body Maintenance Patches. And I think that really helped. That helped to curb my appetite, my sweet tooth, and to not be as hungry while I was over there. When I got back, I did round 2, and round 2 was 5 weeks. I did 5 weeks because I had a goal that I wanted to get down to 90 kilos. I ended up pushing it to 5 weeks. I found for myself that it was a bit too long. I wouldn't do 5 weeks again. I think 3.5 to 4 weeks is enough. You start to lose interest after that time. I did lose 11.4 kilos in the second round. And then I maintained, like I did P3 for 3 weeks before I went away again overseas. So I got down to 92 kilos. I started at 110.8, which is just like, I didn't have a choice when I found HCG. Like, I'd hit rock bottom. I was as heavy as I would allow myself to get, and I was just so miserable and upset with myself that I'd got to that. I was eating vegetarian. I was actually eating high carb, high carb, low fat vegetarian. And I just put the weight on from eating that way. Like, the idea with high carb, low fat is that the fat makes you fat, and by eating high carbs, you're feeling nourished and full and satiated, and so you don't eat as much, which is true. I think my portions were a bit big, but it just wasn't something I could maintain. Like, I put on weight. It just wasn't working for me. So, by the end of round 2, I got down to 92 kilos, which, I was happy with that. It was 2 kilos off my goal for that round, and it was still good. So then I went on to P3 for 3 weeks, I think, 2 weeks. And then I went on holidays. And during that time, between round 2 and round 3, was a total of 15 weeks. And in that time, I completely maintained my weight. I did eat low carb, but on my holiday, I did also indulge. I went and had pizza. I had ice cream, which had sugar in it. I had full-fat iced coffees every morning that I was in Bali, twice a day. Full-fat dairy coffees with cream, so good. As I said, I did have pasta, pizza. Didn't have a whole lot. Did have chocolate as well. But I did try to stay low carb as much as possible. I didn't actually eat any fruit while I was over there, on my holidays. I did have some fruit towards the end, but it was very little. Not saying that fruit's bad, but it is high sugar, and at the end of the day, what I've learned is it doesn't matter where sugar comes from, whether it comes in the form of fructose in a piece of fruit or in just normal table sugar. The body recognizes, or carbs, the body recognizes it as sugar and then turns it into glucose. So those 15 weeks I maintained completely, which was just astounding. Like, that doesn't happen to me. Like, I look at something and I put on weight. Before HCG, I would try and eat less and I would put on weight. Like, how is that possible? I would start exercising and eating better or eating less, and I would put on weight. What? It just doesn't. And now I understand that it's hormones and that your body, A plus B doesn't equal C. So keto's really been something that's really changed my life and allowed me to feel like I'm eating everything I want to eat. I feel full, and yet I'm not putting on weight, which is just amazing. I have all different low carb, keto, sugar-free things that I eat on a daily basis or a weekly basis, that help me to still feel like I'm enjoying my life and not depriving myself of things that I would really like in this life. So I will talk about that in a different video, all my favorite keto products. So look out for that one. So then after 15 weeks maintaining, I decided to do round 3. The reason for choosing to do round 3, my goal was to lose 30 kilos, and I wanted to lose it by Christmas. It looks like by the end of round 2 I'd lost 18 kilos total. The end of round 2 was in July. So I'd lost 18 kilos in 8 weeks. What? That's crazy. Like 8 weeks on HCG and then add in another 3 weeks that I was on holidays, or 2.5 weeks. Like, that's just wow. So my goal was to lose 30 kilos by Christmas 2019. So that's why I started on round 3. I waited until after my mum's birthday because I knew we were going out for dinner, and I didn't want to be on HCG. I didn't want to be on HCG on her birthday. So I started, which was the end of October. I did 4 weeks, and I wasn't really into it. Like, just, I think that I'd pushed my body enough, and I just didn't want to. First of all, because I'd already done 2 rounds of HCG, the patches didn't seem to work as well. Leptin and ghrelin are the two hormones in your body which keep you. Leptin keeps you full. Ghrelin makes you hungry. I always remember it like ghrelin is the same as growl. The tummy's growling, it's hungry. So in round 1 and 2, my leptin levels were very high all the time. I just wasn't hungry. It was difficult to get in my meals. Round 3, I was hungry all the time. And I didn't really know what to do about it. Like, I struggled. I really did. If I'd known better, I probably would have put 2 patches on it a day per thing. And a patch lasts 3 days. I probably would have put 2 on. Or I would have put on a maintenance patch as well to help me curb my sugar cravings and hunger. But I didn't. And I did 4 weeks. I stretched it out to 4 weeks, pushed it to the minimum, which is 26 days. Sorry. I think it's 23 days, and then 3 days is your phase in between when you take the patch off and you still have to eat. P2 protocol. And in that round, I lost 4.5 kilos, which is pretty good. And I lost something like 25 centimeters off my body on that round. So I really noticed that although I didn't lose a whole heap of weight, I lost a lot of centimeters. And I ended up getting down to a size 12, fitting like a glove, size 12. And I originally started at size 20 in April. So, like, yeah, I can't be too hard on myself because that really was a great result. As I said, if I could do it all again, I wouldn't have done round 3. I would have waited longer until the new year to do another round. I really was just craving keto food, actually, which on HCG you can't have that. I did actually try HCG HCG 3.0 keto version. I did actually try that. It's quite complicated. It's based on the premise that you don't have to eat low fat on HCG, that you can actually eat a lower calorie keto diet while using the patches. And it revolved around having every day you had a different set of calories and macros to hit. So it is, it's a sort of thing where it takes a bit of time to set it out, and then you probably just eat the same 2 or 4 meals, alternating each day. I tried it and my body didn't agree with it. It just didn't seem right, and I wasn't losing enough weight quick enough. So protocol that I did most of the time that I was on HCG and had the most success with, because it's a bit more flexible. And I lost, as I said, 4.4 kilos. Currently, it is New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2019, and I have maintained that weight, which was, I got down to 85 kilos, and I have completely maintained that weight, fluctuating within a kilo of 85 kilos, like a kilo up, of 85 kilos for 6 weeks now, which is just amazing. It's just, HCG has absolutely changed my life. So I just wanted to talk to you guys about that. That is what I did. That's the protocol I followed. And in the next one, I'm going to talk about what did I eat on each round and the different protocols and how long I did each one for, and what I typically ate, what worked for me and what didn't. So to wrap up this video, I did HCG for a total of 12 and a half weeks, I think it was. 3 rounds. The first round was 3.5 weeks, the second round 5 weeks, and the third round 4 weeks. And I lost a total of 26 kilos in that time, and it was spread out over 7 months, including all my maintenance time in between. So if you want to go check me out on Instagram, as I said before, it's my HCG Weightloss. Over there you'll find a daily journal from when I was doing my phase 2 and phase 3 of each round. You'll see what meals I was eating. You'll find a couple of recipes over there. You'll also find a discount code for Nature's Body patches, which is what I use and recommend. That's what's helped me lose, or has made me lose all this weight and keep it off. So go and check me out over there. I'll also be posting more videos to help you along with your journey. And I'm going to pop a picture up here of my weight loss progress in photos. It's one thing that I highly recommend you do if you are on a weight loss journey or on HCG, is to take your photos. Like, I wish that I'd taken more, but you can't go back. And if you want to check out some more tips and tricks that I have, check out on my link in bio on Instagram, my top tips that I wish I'd known before I started HCG. Alright, catch you guys. See ya.